Okay, welcome to your RMR testing training. So for this training, you're going to be using this machine right here. When you're starting for the day, you'll just simply need to turn it on. And make sure that you do this before they come in if possible, so that you can make sure that it's warmed up and calibrated before you start the test. After you turn that on, you can have them go through the paperwork just like you would for the VOD pod. So go into RedCap, you'll go through the initial information, you'll have them do the informed consent clicking on the RMR box, and then you'll just go into the RMR testing information from there. For the RMR, you need to get their weight and height. So you can do that before or after, it's up to you. Sometimes it's easier to do it before depending on timing, but we want them to be as rested as possible. So if you can do that and then still give them a couple of minutes to sit, kind of relax, that's going to be the best process. So once this is calibrated, you'll see it's going to get our temperature, and then it's just going to go kind of across the screen as it's calibrating. Once it's ready, then we'll go ahead and explain the rest of the test. So when you see this screen and it says waiting for first breath, this means that the test is ready to run. So at that time, you can take this filtration tube. This tube there are several of them in our office. You'll just simply sit it with the fatter side going onto the machine, and then the air does not, this is going to filter the air coming into the machine. The individual doing the test does not breathe air from the machine, so they're not getting recycled air, they're getting environment air, but it's then going into the machine to do the testing. So you'll have the individual just sit beside you, and then you'll show them this package. It's important that you show them all of this testing material with the packaging on, because you don't want to be touching things that are going to be going in their mouth. So what you'll do is you'll just first show them that they're going to be breathing through this purple mouthpiece right here. They just want to have a complete seal around their mouth. So you'll just explain that once that seal's there, the test is just going to run. They're just going to sit as relaxed as possible for about 10 minutes while the test is running with their mouth on this mouthpiece. The other piece that they need to know about is this nose piece. Their nose goes between those two rubber kind of styrofoam pieces. Usually when I'm doing the explanation for this test, I explain that this is the most uncomfortable part of the test for most people, because it does have a complete seal on their nose. So they're not able to breathe in and out of their nose. So kind of let them know that this is potentially going to be uncomfortable. It's nothing too uncomfortable, but it's something that may cause a little bit of discomfort. While they're breathing through the tube, they may also notice that they have quite a bit of saliva in their mouths. We always let them know that we have tissues on hand, and they're not here, but they're usually right here. So let them know that there are tissues there in case they have a little extra saliva. The back of their throat can also get dry. The test itself takes the best 5 minutes of the test. So if someone gets to the point where they're quite uncomfortable, they're welcome to take the tube out, swallow, cough, do whatever they need to do, and then just put it back in. It will not ruin the test, and it kind of sets the person at ease, because sometimes it's a little uncomfortable to breathe through a tube, and getting used to it, people kind of get their anxiety up. The goal of this test is to have them as rested as possible, so letting them have those kind of assurances through the test is going to be something to alleviate some of those errors. Another thing that we have them do is just put these earphones on. Even though our office is usually pretty quiet, there are sometimes some distractions, so we just have them cover their ears, and that way there's a little less noise while they're doing the test. So then what you'll do is you'll take this package and you'll just pull the tube out. You'll give them this nose piece for them to clip on, and then you just stretch, this is the fun part, you just stretch the tube out. You'll hand them this mouthpiece. This mouthpiece does turn and twist. So this can actually come off. They can make it whatever direction they want to. And then you'll attach this hose piece to the filtration, and then you'll hand them, without touching any of the purple, you'll hand them their piece of it. Make sure their nose is plugged. So when they're doing the test, they'll look something like this. And then once you've started breathing, you can see that this has actually started a time. So while the individual is breathing, it's going to count to about 10 minutes. And then as they breathe, you'll notice that there's a little symbol that goes across here. That's just tracking their breath. So as they go through the next 10 minutes, this is going to pace. Try to let them know that they don't want to focus on this because they want their breath to just be as natural as possible. So while they're sitting, the most ideal is just eyes closed, completely relaxed. If they get bored and they want to look at their phone or read something, you can let them know that they're welcome to, but it's important to let them know that the results can be affected because of that. So if they're coming in for well use, sometimes they're okay with it being a little bit off, but the most ideal is eyes closed, completely relaxed, breathing into the tube for about 10 minutes. Usually you can just say that they get their 10-minute meditation or a little mini nap or something, try to make it kind of comfortable for them. So then once this has its 10 minutes of breathing, then you'll notice that it'll have a really loud beep, and that's going to let us know that it's on to the next step. So we'll go ahead and go through the test now, and then we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Sorry, I totally forgot they were literally done today. Yeah, I think that. Music classes full day. So I looked up on their website, you know, more about them, and I clicked out the number of books to do this. So I will not be doing
Okay, so once you see remove the hose, just let the participant know that they can then take the hose out of their mouth. You'll take it out of this tube right here. This just goes in the garbage as well as their nose piece. And then you're going to choose to enter subject data. So if you have not gotten their height or weight, this would be the time that you'd want to do that. You'll just hit yes, and then you'll choose their information, and they can just either let you know or it should be in the database that they entered. So once you've decided that it's where it should be, you'll just hit the check mark. You'll enter their height. You can see it in inches here or in centimeters. You'll choose their sex. You'll enter their weight. And then this is where you can enter a goal weight. So usually how I explain this is I just say, this machine allows for a goal weight if you're interested. We'll just enter a number and it'll let you know how long it would take to get to that goal weight. Some individuals aren't interested in changing their weight, so you'll simply hit a check mark at the weight that they're at. Or if they decide they want to lose a certain number of weight, whatever that pound number would be, you just go ahead and hit a check once it's there. This will give you their RMR, and then this number right here is just the test number. So if you ever for some reason needed to go back and see what their test was or print out their results again, this is something that you can enter in the database on RedCap. You'll just go ahead and choose print, and it'll just print to the side here. And then you can go ahead and grab that information. This sheet right here, you'll then use to explain their data. So right here, you have their resting metabolic rate. What this number means is this is how many calories at rest their body requires just to survive. So usually we recommend that this be the number that they never go lower than. So this is a large chunk of what they're burning in a day, and then there are two different estimates based on things that they actually do during the day. So remember, this is at rest. This lifestyle and activity is if you were to just go throughout your normal day. An explanation is right here as well, but basically all it is just what you would burn going grocery shopping, going to work, playing with your kids, eating, whatever that would look like for the individual. That's about how many calories they most likely burn doing that. Of course, if they had a very active job, this number would potentially be higher. And then this right here is 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise. Again, remember, it's just an estimate based on the information that we have, but it's usually a pretty good estimate of if they exercise, say going on a jog for 30 minutes, this is about how many calories they would burn doing that. So then on this other side of this scale or teeter-totter that we have here, this is going to be what they're bringing into their body. So this right here is a zone that you would never recommend that they go into. So this number you can see is quite low. We actually recommend that this weight loss zone even be included in that medically supervised zone. The reason for that is this top number of their weight loss zone is actually their resting metabolic rate. So like we said, this is our survival number, so going below that can tend to slow the metabolism down. It can also tend to decrease their ability to have the energy that they want during the day. So usually what we recommend for most individuals is that they actually look at this maintenance zone, recognizing that they want to be closer to their resting metabolic rate if they're interested in losing weight, and then closer to this top end of their maintenance zone if they're interested in maintaining their weight. Of course, any exercise is not built into this, so you'd want to make sure they account for that when they're looking at their energy expenditure. So then you can give kind of a recommendation there, even just writing down a number. Say if I wanted to lose weight, maybe doing like a 2100 or something for the caloric expenditure for that day. So then what you can do on this sheet right here, it's going to give, this sheet is actually the incorrect one. You can see that there's print outside of where this normally is. So there's normally a different sheet in this printer that doesn't have this box here. But what it's going to tell you is how you and your metabolism compare to individuals your same sex, age, height, and weight, and then how long it will take you to have the results of that weight loss that you chose as your goal. So for the 5 pounds that was decided for this client, it's going to take about 2 weeks, and then this X will normally be on this line right here. Anywhere from this line to this line is considered a normal range, and this line would be the exact average for your same heights, weight, sex, and age. So that's exact average. This right here is within 1 standard deviation, all considered normal. Anywhere on this side is considered a slower metabolism. Anywhere on this side is considered a faster metabolism. And then this information right here is just what we put in for our test for today. And then on the back it has a lot of information that would be useful for you to go through, as well as to advise individuals to go through that, so that they can understand what resting metabolic rate is and then what to do based on the goals that they have for themselves. So you can have them take this sheet with them and they will have their results for the future.